Jonathan, thank you. Good to be with you tonight. I know that I always say it's random, but they always put the old guy last because they think that, maybe he'll either fall asleep or stroke out and get the time back. Trying to decide which topics to discuss tonight, and I decided to do two of the scariest things in a medical student's life: malpractice lawyers and loss of sexual function. So let's start with Jim Sokoloff, who's on television advertising that you should hire him to sue your doctor. And he is, for the last year, starts his ads, this is true, you've probably seen these ads, pretending he's a stand-up comedian. And I find that just disgustingly insulting to comedians. So he started his first one. He said, "What's 50,000 lawyers under the sea?" You can help. A good start, absolutely right. And his second commercial, he said, "Why do they bury lawyers 12 feet below the surface?" Because deep down, they're really good guys. And then the third one he did, the third one he did, I don't even get. He said, what's the difference between a vulture and a lawyer? He said, frequent flyer miles. I'm glad somebody thought that was funny. Anyway, if you're going to do lawyer jokes, I think you should, I'll give you some examples of where he's moving, what's going to be next on television. The first one of my favorites, is what's the difference between a flounder and a lawyer? One's a scum-sucking bottom dweller, and the other one's a fish. If you go to the highway, 128, 90, and you see a dead lawyer and a dead rat. How can you tell the difference? You're not supposed to like these quite that bad. There's skid marks in front of the rat. Some people enjoy themselves way too much. What's the difference between a prostitute and a lawyer? Yeah, that's right. A prostitute will stop screwing you after you're dead. Just did one more and I'm gone sexual function. This is the definition of a tragedy. There's a whole plane full of plaintiffs' lawyers. They're going to a conference. And the plane crashes. And they all die. The tragedy is that there was one empty seat. So let's go on to modern medicine. You may have heard this is all true. That XR is all true. That American males are more and more getting bombarded with ads for testosterone. And we believe that unless we're taking testosterone, we're in really bad shape. And up till last year, up till actually very recently, the only way you could tell whether you needed testosterone was to take this quiz, which is online. And this is absolutely true. And I'll just give you some of the questions they asked. Recently, have you noticed a deterioration in your ability to play sports? Actually, my answer was, no, that happened a long time ago. Have you less energy? Then what? Have you lost height? This is my favorite one because I never had height. Are your erections less firm? No, I'm not going anywhere near that one. After dinner, are you falling asleep? It's a real question. In any event, no matter how you turn out, as long as you answered one yes, they took you to the website where you could buy testosterone gel. Although, boy, there's one thing new, and this is one thing new on these websites now. There's now a consent form, an informed consent form, we call it. And the first line, I love this line, is, it's very important that you realize that medicine is an inexact science. So, the medical profession, and this is true too, finally decided they've got to do some studies of this because there are too many men risking their lives because it may cause heart attacks as well. Taking testosterone, and we don't know whether it works. So the NIH sponsored a study, very complicated, this is true, it's 7 independent, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials going on around the United States, 3 of which were reported on in the February 18th edition of the New England Journal of Medicine. Again, this is true. In those 3 studies, they were studying mood, sexual function, and vitality. Okay. And the study concluded, again, this is perfectly true, that after taking a year between a placebo and testosterone gel, that it had no effect on two of the variables. The guys were still grumpy and lethargic, but it had a measurable impact on their sexual ability. So the conclusion was, we still don't know enough to decide whether to recommend testosterone gel. So the guys are now about in the same position as the women are. I'm sure you know that about the Viagra for women, the so-called pink pill, fulvestrant, Addy it's called. JAMA, can't make this stuff up, just published a meta-analysis of the 8 studies that have been done on fulvestrant. And the result was that women on fulvestrant, which you have to take every day, experience 1/2 more sexual excitement events in a month than they had previously. They don't tell you which half. Well, it was the beginning anyway. The study was not done well. Now I'm going to end with a commercial, and this is true too. Next Wednesday, April 6th, we're going to have right here in this room the 2 UN rapporteurs, one on torture and one on the right to health, and we're going to do an all-day conference on human rights and health. And I highly recommend anyone who can come, tell anybody they can come. We're going to have breakfast, lunch, so if you can only come in the morning, come in the morning, come in the afternoon. But we'll end with a Guantanamo story, since the rapporteur who's going to be here has issued a very strong call for the Guantanamo to be closed. And among the things that's happened there were the force feedings of hunger strikers. That sounds very funny, doesn't it? And the worst one probably was the use of rectal feeding. When the guys wouldn't eat, they'd bring them their tray, and this is true from the Senate report. They pureed their lunch. In this case, it was spaghetti. I'm telling you this after you eat. I didn't think I could actually do this, but it was spaghetti, hummus, nuts, and raisins, which they pureed, and you can imagine how it was rectally fed to the guy. In any event, the Cheney, who has basically argued all this stuff was fine, all the torture was fine, said, I told you guys, I said this in public all the way through the first Bush administration, that we were going to rectally feed these guys. I gave you 3 clues. Right? One, I said that we're not going to kiss them on the cheeks. 2, I said we're going to work on the dark side. And 3, I said the gloves are going to come on. But actually, it turned out the gloves came on. Thank you very much.